Okay, this is a quick video to show you how to create a scatter graph between the HDI and CPI of a country. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new sheet and I'm going to rename it scatter graph. Once I've done that, I'm going to go back to my original data. I'm going to select country, hold down control and then select HDI and CPI. Right click, copy, go back to scatter, right click, paste. Okay, we have incomplete data sets here. When we're doing a scatter graph, we want to be able to set plot pairs of data. So we need to make sure that we have pairs of data for each country. Antigua, we already know, has missing data. Andorra only has HDI, it doesn't have a CPI index, and so we need to get rid of Andorra. What we're going to do is we're going to select the top row, we're going to go to sort and filter, and then I'm going to order my CPI from smallest to largest. You can order HDI, but I know the CPI is much easier in this case. So when I scroll down to the bottom, I can see that these countries here have incomplete or missing data sets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this data. I'm going to paste it in a new sheet. Paste it, paste it, and I'm going to rename the sheet missing data. Okay, it's important to maybe mention these countries that we're missing data from because they could all come from the same continent. They could misrepresent the data. So we need to make sure that we're mentioning that and maybe looking into what those countries have in common, why they have incomplete data sets. So I'm going to clear this filter, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the data that I want to create my scatter graph from. So if I highlight both of them, and then I go to Insert, and I go to the scatter down here, we want just a scatter like that. I'm going to right click it, no I'm not, I'm going to, up here I'm going to move the chart, and I'm going to move it to a new sheet because I want it all by itself. I'm going to call that scatter graph 2. Let's call it scatter graph 2. And so here we have our scatter graph. We want to create a title, you want to label your axes, so you do that by adding the chart elements and then clicking what titles you want to add. What I want to quickly show you is here, it looks like we haven't got a linear correlation. It looks like we've got an exponential correlation. What I can do is if I click with my left hand click on the chart and go to this add button, we can add a trend line. If I just click that tick there, you can see it's given me a linear trend line. It's not a linear relationship, this. We can see that straight away, it's not fitting. So we don't want to add a linear trend line. If I go to my next, to the little arrow, I can maybe fit an exponential trend line. That looks a little bit more like what we're seeing. Okay, I don't think that really suits this data either, so I'm not going to add that exponential trend line. I'm just going to keep it like this. But because we have a non-linear relationship, we can't be using Pearson's product moment correlation coefficient. That only works for linear data. Because we've got an exponential relationship, we need to be using a different correlation coefficient. We need to be using Spearman's rank, and that's what you should be doing in the next part of this project.